started with her friends, Clara, and was really a good team member there. And that's one of the things I like to stress is being a team member. And for that, Mark McGuire is her first year track letter. Congratulations. Elena Thuarus earned her second year track letter. She was a thrower on the team and did a great job. She did the shot put and the discus, and then when it came down to it, in the end she focused in on the shot. And did she? Okay, she didn't letter last year. I thought she did. She's so good I thought she lettered. She must have. It's her first year to letter, and congratulations, Elena. Ellie Wallace came out to track for her first year. It's nice to have another Wallace out. And right now we don't have Ellie's event in female track and field in Mississippi. She's probably a pole vaulter. Maybe even a triple jumper. We don't have that yet either. So she settled in for the shot put and made it all the way to the South State meet where she PR'd at the South State. And when someone PRs at a big meet like that, I think it shows a lot about them and their hard work. She was, again, another team player and somebody who was out there cheering for everybody. She even learned how to hurdle a little bit and picked up on a lot of events. It was a really nice coach. She did a great job this year. Good job. Then straight out of my science class in 7th grade, let me call it Eleanor Hanley. Eleanor kept telling me that the only reason she was coming out to track was because her dad was making her. And about 2 or 3 weeks into the season, she admitted to me that she liked it. But she wouldn't admit that to many people. And she did the hurdles. She did the 100-meter hurdles and the 300 hurdles. When we moved her up to the varsity team, she did the 100-meter hurdles. She even stepped in and ran on the relays and really was able to step in there on a moment's notice and did a great job. And for a 7th grader to do as well as she did in the 100-meter hurdles, I think it says a whole lot about it. Great job, Eleanor. There's Adair Sturdivant with glitter on here. Adair this year earned her second year letter. And she came out last year and did a great job. And this year, she came out very, very determined. She was one of the team captains for the junior varsity team. And her spirit was just incredible. I mean, she was always just up and always motivating people and always encouraging everyone to do their best. And she kind of kept me calm, too, at a lot of, on many occasions, just because she was always just so calm herself. And so together. Adair really didn't get a chance to do her events, her best events, which was the hurdles and the long jump. She had a bum knee from basketball. And she sure did a great job in the relays and will continue to be a strong member on the relays. Maybe next year she can come out and be healthy from the beginning and stay healthy too. But you did a great job Adair. I'm very proud of you. Definitely. Catherine Dunbar-Smith, her second year letter this year as well. Catherine had to overcome a few obstacles this year. She stress fractured a toe and had to take some time off. That's a serious thing. And she just didn't let it get her down. She had to stay away from practice for a few weeks, but she came right back out just in time for the district meet and competed for events in the 100 meters and on the relays. She shows a lot of promise to me and is going to be a fine sprinter on the varsity team. And was also another real good leader for the junior varsity team. Catherine did a great job, second year left. And another one right out of my science class is Jenny Nichols. Jenny thinks I'm going to make fun of her right now, but I'm really not. Jenny ran the 300 hurdles and she made it all the way to the South State meet where she ran a 54 flat. And that's a very fast time. Many years, in all the years in the past, a 54 would have made it all the way to state and scored points. But every year the competition gets a little stiffer. Now she's in 7th grade and she made it that far. And I think she's going to continue to improve and get better year by year. 54 is a good time. She was down herself, and I don't want her to be down herself for that, because I think that is good running. And you did a great job. She also did the long jump and PR'd at the regional meet there. Good job, Jenny. I'm proud of you. And then earning her second-year letter is Catherine Wells. Come on up, Catherine. Catherine was captain of the cross-country team this past year, and she went out for the track team again and did the 100-meter hurdles and 300 hurdles, and has a fierce work ethic, and that transcends from all of her dance background that she has. Catherine has a wonderful spirit and is a real good team leader, and we needed her this year in leading the team. Catherine, real proud of you. You did a good job. And now for my all-state team. These next group of ladies made it all the way to the state meet, making them all-state. And again, right out of my 7th grade science class, Clara Gomez Sanchez. I still have to learn to say her name. She says I'm still doing a bad job of pronouncing her name. Clara ran the 1600 for us and made it all the way to the state meet, and is a fine runner. I learned of her in cross country, and it was at the state meet where she stepped up there and really showed her stuff at that meet, and then was a fabulous distance runner for the junior varsity team, then came on up to the varsity team where she did a great job there. And this year she earned her first year letter, and I think what we're going to see with Claire is that eventually Claire's going to learn to run her own race, and when she does it, she's going to be a real force to contend with. You did a great job, Claire. I'm proud of you. And another one out of my science class, Leslie Wells. Now, I've been a runner my whole life, and I've seen a lot of races and been in a lot of races. And her 3200 at the state meet this year was one of the best and most gutsiest races I've ever seen, regardless of anybody's age or size or years in the sport. I don't know how many of you were here for it, but that 3200 was something. She was right around 1302, and she was duking it out with last year's state champion in that race. And she just did not let that intimidate her. She even had an official from the triple jump run out in front of her and try to stop her. And Leslie bumped into her and then ran around her. And it didn't even break her stride. She never even mentioned it to me. This is the first time I've acknowledged that I saw it to her right here. And, I think, I could, it could have, maybe if this had happened to some other people, they might have just stopped right there. They would stop because that's an official telling you to stop. Leslie kept her head about herself and kept running and placed third at the state meet with a huge PR. And I'm very proud of Leslie Wells, and she's a great runner. Good job, Leslie. And now earning her second year letter in track and field is Emily Thomas. Emily Thomas learned how to long jump this year as well. She ended up, her best long jump was about 15.9. And Emily really did a fine job with that. She's also an 800-meter runner and would get on the mile relay at times. Emily is one of our superstar cross-country runners as well, and one of our fine distance runners. We're going to see big things come from her in all the years. I really believe in Emily, and I really believe in all your abilities and your talents. And I think you're gonna have some more great races in the future. Emily, I'm very proud of you. Earning her Seiler ran the 800 for us, and she ran very fiercely. I picked her up right out of the junior varsity team where she would get in and run the 800 one meet, the 1600 another. And what I really liked about Mallory is her ability to run the way I tell her to run. And you don't see that very often. And so if I told her to hit certain splits, she would do it. If I told her to surge in certain areas, she would do that. She ran very fiercely, very strong, and has a very strong work ethic. And ended up PRing at the state meet. His personal record ended up running a 2:38 at the state meet. And did a great job. Mallory, I'm proud of you. You're going to appreciate it. Good job. Where's my lone senior? Melanie and I are the only ones here who know the real story. The true story that dates all the way back to Melanie's first day at track practice. Melanie showed up, and she had never done a sport before. And I want you to know she stayed with it, and she plugged away, year by year, season by season. And Melanie competed in a state meet this year, and really threw well. I'm very proud of you, Melanie. Great job. I think it's great when you see someone's hard work really pay off. When they stick with something for several years, and then here at the end, their senior year, they get to compete at the big show. And that to me is it's just a wonderful thing to get to experience as a coach. I'm afraid to call Brittany up because it's going to show my height, but Brittany Balfour. You can probably guess her event. She's a high jumper, and she really she's very talented, and she's a dancer, and she has a very strong work ethic, which she learned through dance and probably learned also from mom and dad at home, and from her older brother Andy, who is also a very hard worker. Brittany ended up jumping, her best height was 4'10", and that is one of the best jumps that we've had here at this school. Right now, the highest jump on the school record dates back to Rita Rollins at 5'2", and then there's Lorena who jumped 5 feet, and Brittany at 4'10". She's a fine high jumper and shows a lot of promise and potential. And she told me the other day that she had her heart set on feeding that girl who gave Hope and Mallory fits in the 400 and 800. So that'll be nice if you can do that for us too. You did a great job, Rick. I'm proud of you. You did a wonderful job. And earning her second year letter is Lorena Adams. Lorena's got style. That's what I like about Lorena. And she's always smiling. She's just, she just glows. And I'm sure she's glowing right now. Last year, her best jump was a 4'6", and this year she improved all the way to 5 feet. She was South State champion, and really is a fine jumper. She also ran on the relays, and she ran the 100. She even learned how to hurdle during the junior varsity time. And Lorena is going to be one of our key members of this team for many years to come. Again, she's in 8th grade, and she jumped 5 feet. And she can even jump higher. Next year, I think, no telling how high she's going to go. And for her big improvements and for her hard work, Lorena Adams is the most improved award. I believe Carrie understands what it means to be a team member. This year, Clara had a migraine at the South out state meet. She wasn't feeling well. Well, Carrie took care of her. Carrie put her arm around her and hugged her and told her she's going to be fine, and gave her years of experience, all her wisdom that she's learned in her past 2 or 3 years of running. She's only in 9th grade, but she stepped up and acted like a senior, and really helped her clear out, and was a team member, and did that for her all the way through. But that wasn't the only thing she did. She was acted as a good captain for the team this year. She had good spirit, and the team followed her, listened to her, and looked at her. And I noticed that. I thought that was, just incredible, seeing a 9th grader step up like that and be a leader. And for that, Carrie Dennis gets the Saint Award. Carrie also PR'd at the state meet. So, that's PR'd at the state meet is huge. Next up, Laura Mortimer, who earned her 2nd year last. There's no doubt about it, about Laura Mortimer's talents as a distance runner. This year, you ran it to 12:24. Was it 12:18? 12:18 was her PR this year in the 3,200. And that is moving for anybody, especially moving for a 9th grader. That's far ahead of where some of our other superstars were at that age. She was captain of the cross-country team and is, again, one of our leaders and one of the core members of this team. And Laura Mortimer, you get the Best Runner Award for the team. Proud of her. She's only in 8th grade, y'all, and she has the heart of an Olympian. She has the heart of somebody who's been in this sport and plugging away at this sport for years. She is always positive and always optimistic. She leads the sprint relay teams, and she leads the sprinters, and she leads all of them. She's an inspiration to everyone, to all the members, the boys team alike. And I noticed that, and when you fell at the meet and you got hurt, that hurt everybody. And that just brought, everybody was hurting for you. But you pulled yourself back up and you got back in there. And that was what was impressive about that. And you stayed with that, and you kept plugging away. And for all your hard work, for your effort, for your talents, and for you, you've been voted the MVP of this year's track and field team. All right, congratulations, girls. I'm proud of you guys. Somewhere sitting out there amongst you is the greatest St. Andrews boys team ever to be assembled. And I'd like to call you up. This year's boys team set 8 school records. 8 school records. And it was 8 school records is what it took for them to win the district meet, to play 2nd at the region, and 2nd at South State, and then again 2nd at the state meet. These guys were a lot of fun to coach. They were fun to coach because they got into it. And as a coach, you just can't beat that. When your team and everybody, your hurlers, and your vaulters, and your sprinters, your throwers, and your distance runners are all into it, and all into each other, and all interested in really pushing each other and helping each other get to be the very best that they can be. And I tell you what, these young men, they did it this year, and they won my heart over with their hard work. And they allowed me to experience so much elation and joy being their coach that I don't even know what to do about it. I'll tell you what, I give them the credit, and I give them the honor for what they accomplished, because they sure did it. They did it amongst themselves. I'm going to start with Jay Brandon. Jay Brandon has been a thrower on the team for several years now. Every year he comes out, he improves little by little. And I think what we're going to see in a few more years to come is Jay Brandon is going to be that thrower that we need at the state meets. We really need to do. We need to step up and be that thrower. You've got a lot of talent, and you've definitely got the work ethic to do it. I'm proud of you, Jay. Good job. Douglas McRae. The powers that be didn't allow Douglas to run in any meets this year. He was sick. He went out of town and he got injured. Right, his goal was to break 6 minutes, and that was his goal. And it was a great day, right around the district track meet. The week after, he met me out there, and he did it. He ran a 5:45 mile, and he accomplished his goal. And that's big time. That's good running. Douglas works very hard, and he's a real member of this team in his work ethic, and really was out there for everyone, and showed up at the state meet, cheering for his teammates, and that means a lot right there. And Douglas is going to be a big member of this year's cross-country team coming up. And we're losing some seniors, and in fact, John Applegate and I were talking about you on our long run this afternoon, and talking about all your potential. He's really excited about that 5:45 too. Douglas, you earned your first year letter. I'm proud of you. Robinson. Robert came out in early February and picked up on a lot of events. Learned the 110 high hurdles, the 300 intermediate hurdles, worked on the high jump, worked on the long jump, worked a little bit on the triple jump, got into the relays, really learned a lot of events. And next year with some of our senior boys moving on, we're really looking to Robert to step up and fill in some of those positions. He's got a great work ethic, and that's one of the driving factors behind him. And he's also a real good team member. This year, Robert earned his second year letter. Good job. Ryan Halford. Brian earned his second year letter as well this year. Brian played a little bit with injuries this year, but he stayed with it, and he continued to be supportive of the team and taking care of his hamstring, and came out there and did a fine job when we needed him at the district meet and at the regional meet, and all the way down to the South State. Unfortunately, we're losing Brian next year. His family's moving to San Diego, and we're going to really miss him. Very proud of you, Brian. Earned your second year letter. Good job. Next is our school record holder in the discus, Richard Palmer. Richard is a good man, and he's he's been a big part of this team for several years, and I have fond memories of him coming out on a rainy, wet day when he was a freshman, and we played with the discus on the infield, and just threw the discus up and down the field. And last year, when he was a junior, he had his best throw at 118 feet. And he's been a strong member of this team, has a lot of heart. We're really going to miss you next year. I think next year you're going to Swanee and play football at Swanee too, right? And track. All right, another track guy going to college. That's good. Learning his second year letter is Chris Deacon. I think he looks good with this new hairdo. Chris Deacon ran the relays for us, and he also ran the 400, and his 400 at the district meet was pretty incredible because it was a photo finish, and for him to beat out this other guy who had placed right behind him. I mean, and in that race, it was two photo finishes. First was Trey, and then coming in was Chris. And we have photo finishes like that. It shows their heart, and it shows their character when they're driving all the way to the very end. Chris is a big member of this team and will continue to be. He's young, so I've got him for a few more years. And looking forward to seeing what we can accomplish in the future too, Chris. Good job, second year lane. Andrew Ruff, third year lane. I noticed Andrew's potential as a thrower when he was in 8th grade when he earned his first letter. And this year, I called Andrew early in the season and asked him to come out and help with some of the young throwers from the junior varsity team. And Andrew did that. And he came out a couple of days a week. He's afraid to look at you, I think. And really worked with those guys and motivated them. And he ended up learning more and more about his event. Next year, Andrew is going to help us win that state title in the shot put and in the discus. Good job, Andrew. Good job. Okay, the next group of men are our all-state team. Tommy Anderson, who's not here, earned his second-year letter this year. Tommy stayed with the team and stayed competing hard in events, even with a bum shoulder. He had a torn ligament in his shoulder, and he didn't let that stop him. He stayed out there, he stayed working. Tommy's also our school record holder in the shot put. He's done 39 feet, 10 inches. I believe had that shoulder stayed healthy, he probably could have gone out and really challenged some people for that state.